The death of Daniel Pearl, the Wall Street Journal reporter horribly murdered by terrorists, isn't really the subject of A Mighty Heart. Rather, it's the story of Pearl's wife, Marianne, 5 months pregnant at the time, who had to wait fearfully for news of her husband. The prolific British director Michael Winterbottom tells of the savage methods the Pakistani government used to track down the perpetrators. Jolie, adorned with skin bronzer and a Parisian accent, sits, makes dinner, and waits. Winterbottom tours the streets of Karachi and then returns us to the house where Jolie is already in progress, even more worried than she was earlier.
Minister, good to meet you. This is Marianne Pearl.
How do you do?
Thank you for meeting with us.
Mrs. Pearl, let me tell you something. There were 3,000 journalists in Pakistan during the war in Afghanistan. Not one of them got into trouble.
Well, Danny and I were two of those journalists, so I'm sorry, I don't understand your point.
Why did your husband have to meet with these people?
He's a journalist.
I don't think this is the business of a journalist.
Forgive me for correcting you, but it is absolutely the business of a journalist.
Mrs. Pearl.
Yes.
We do have information that the Indian intelligence services are behind this kidnapping.
You really believe that? I don't see
They
that.
are trying to embarrass Pakistan by blaming Islamic extremists or the ISI for the disappearance of an American journalist. Don't you see it? I think we must conclude at this point. Mr. Bauman, I am slightly busy and I do have some prior engagements. Thank you. Mr. Bauman. Mrs. Pearl.
I really have to congratulate the film critics of the country that have been as brave about fighting back their natural urges, their natural urges to write about what they really are seeing here, and to instead just writing kind of an homage to Daniel Pearl, who died so honorably, although at the same, so horribly in Pakistan. This movie's not about it. Marianne Pearl's book was called A Mighty Heart because she was writing about her husband. Her husband is a cipher in the film A Mighty Heart. The Mighty Heart belongs to the big movie star diva that the film keeps, going back to again and again, to wait for the big emotional outburst at the end when the horror is revealed. This is, you watch this film in sort of a sense of sick dread, not just because of Jolie's limited acting range, but also because you know where it's going, and it's it's. I don't know. What would you think?
Well, okay, let me. You say sick dread, and let me give you the word that I just hit me halfway through this film. Yeah. Exploitive.
Yeah, I think that's.
And it's manipulating our emotions.
Yeah.
This is really all it's doing. This is a film using handheld cameras again and again and again.
Right. Yeah.
That gives you a tour of Karachi.
It tries to. Yeah.
And keeps coming back to that, and then all it is a series of running around the streets of Karachi by car, breaking into homes and grabbing people out of the houses.
Bringing them back to the police station to rough them up.
And getting another cell phone call, endless cell phone calls, to then go out and do it again. And it is so boring.
And then to the hotels where the Americans are sitting around having cocktails at the Sheraton, or else saying very wicked and savage things about how they'd like to get their hands on the people responsible.
Michael Winterbottom, the director of this film, who has done 24-Hour Party People. His last film was Tristram Shandy, which was just terrible. Tries to make socially significant films.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just can't do it. He just doesn't have control of the medium, and his scripts are just so awful. Yeah. They always miss the mark by a lot. Not a little. I think it's strange the details he trips over here, and I think it's just partially because he's in awe of his star. If there'd been a non-professional actress, would this been a better movie? I mean, that's one of those questions you have to ask yourself. I disagree with you on Angelina Jolie. I think she did a good job, very good job with what she had. There's no character in this film. No, not really. They also serve who also stand and wait and make dinner and have wine with their friends. It's just you're kind of, it's just a painful film. Painful. Yeah, I'm surprised to see the kind of notices it's getting, and I think it's just because of guilt, Well, I think, again, and I think this is why we're hitting this so hard. Yeah. Because I've heard so many people talking about how she's going up for the Oscar and stuff, which is always something I hate to hear. That people think this is because of its subject again. Right. That it is so significant. Yeah. And it really is an extension of CNN newscast with not much more depth going on in it. True. Unfortunately. Yeah.